Aloha and welcome, Jan Wakefield here. I just wanted to go over the channeling session disclaimer and agreement. So, first of all, I want to thank you for participating in a channeling session, whether it's private or public. I'm grateful that you're here. Please read and acknowledge this disclaimer before proceeding. Please understand the nature of services. The information provided during channeling sessions is for educational, spiritual, and entertainment purposes only. These services are not intended to replace professional medical, psychological, financial, legal, or other licensed advice. The scope of services includes insights, guidance, and information received during the sessions are to be considered spiritual and metaphysical in nature. Sessions may explore personal growth, spiritual development, and general life guidance. Information shared is not predictive and should not be taken as absolute truth. You maintain full responsibility for your own decisions and actions. Some important limitations. The practitioner, me, I do not diagnose, treat, or cure any medical condition. I cannot prescribe medications or advise about changing existing medications. I do not provide mental health therapy or counseling. I do not offer financial or investment advice. I do not provide legal counsel, and I cannot guarantee specific outcomes or results. Your responsibilities here are the following. By participating in a channeling session, you acknowledge that you are 18 years of age or older. You understand that this is not a substitute for professional services. You maintain full responsibility for your physical, mental, and emotional well-being. You will seek appropriate professional help for medical, psychological, financial, or legal concerns. You exercise your own judgment in applying any information received. Medical and mental health notice. If you are experiencing medical or mental health issues, consult qualified healthcare professionals. Maintain your prescribed treatments and medications. Do not delay or discontinue professional medical care. Treat channeling sessions and channeled healing sessions as complementary to, not replacements for, professional care. Your agreement. By proceeding with the session, you acknowledge that you have read, understood, and agreed to the terms and limitations. Your participation indicates acceptance of these terms and understanding of the non-professional nature of channeling services. Thank you. All right. So let's start with closing eyes and just beginning with natural breathing. And so the Blue Healers always recommend tapping into your body, getting your baseline. What's going on today? Are you feeling anxious, excited, maybe fearful, angry, sad, whatever feelings are going on? Notice those first today. And breathe deeply into areas of tension in your mind, in your body. And allow yourself to wrap your own arms lovingly around yourself, either literally or metaphorically, loving those parts of yourself where challenges still exist, knowing that these will pass. And as you breathe deeply into the body, identifying areas of tension, transition gently into the spiral breath from 8 to 1, breathing in from 8 to 1 in a spiral. Release 1 to 8. And of course, do this at your own pace. We all breathe at our own pace. The words are just a guideline to remind you of what you're doing. Aim 8 to 1 and release 1 to 8. Breathing energy and love into the body. Breathing space and joy into the body. The blue healers have arrived. The violet people have arrived. As has been common with recent channeling sessions, many extra-dimensional groups are coming to observe the space. Continuing to breathe from 8 to 1, release 1 to 8. This group has gained the attention of extra-dimensional species far and wide. This is because the commitment you have to yourselves and to the experience of being here is quite profound. The observations are for some research, for others bringing forth information to specific individuals. And for some, they are here simply to be part of the healing space. So many of you ask the question of why it is you do not spontaneously heal. Your 3D world is of a vibrational frequency that is intrinsically tied to time. This time is linear in nature. So therefore, anything that happens spontaneously is an illusion of human perception, because spontaneous anything is always a series of steps to arrive at where you are in that moment. And then the moment is gone, moving into the next. The sooner you are able to recognize that when you are in the 3D experience and choices that you make either alleviate tension in the body and the mind or sustain tension in the body and the mind, you will begin to better understand the steps in the process of spontaneous healing. There is always a series of steps. And so long as you are able to relax into the experience of the individual steps, it will not matter what you define as spontaneous. It will not matter how it occurs, simply that it has occurred. The body, the human body in the 3D form, has a way of healing itself that requires multi-dimensional aspects. However, the 3D experience cannot be overlooked in any case at any time if you are in a 3D body. So keep in mind that it is a series of steps. It is a little bit of time, and it is for you to be patient and loving with yourself in the process. We assure you, when healing occurs, it will feel spontaneous, because you will have forgotten the many, many steps it has taken to get you to the spontaneous remission, the spontaneous healing, the spontaneous release of psychological disorders or conditions of the mind. So, for those of you who are impatient, wanting solutions immediately, and you are frustrated and want to give up, the question you need to ask yourself is, which do you prefer? Feelings of defeat, feelings of frustration, of giving up, of beating yourself up for your lack of perceived perception of perfection? Or do you wish to lean into the curiosity, the love, the joy of the unfolding process and experience in front of you? We understand that some of you suffer greatly, and perhaps the focus on your suffering has become your life's purpose. If that is the case, love that life purpose. Love it because it presents itself to you. Love it because it speaks to you. And also love the opportunity, the option, and the experience of the unfolding of your own wellness. Again, for those of you who desire spontaneous healing, spontaneous wealth, spontaneous anything, there is always a series of steps that will get you to the place of spontaneity. So think of it this way. In one moment, you may decide spontaneously to change course of action and do something new. Can you truly say that it was spontaneous? There were myriad steps that got you to the place of deciding to do something new. And then was that spontaneous moment isolated from the ones that came after? Of course not. The spontaneous moment then emerged, evolved, and changed into the moments that followed to bring you to where you are now. One thing that is being mentioned by one of the extra dimensional groups here is that time is not what you think. Time can be a prison within which you chain yourself to a clock, 1 minute, 1 second ticking after the next. Or time can be a ride upon which you go through your future, go through your past. It has its ups and its downs, but in the end, you are simply going on a little ride. Think of how many times you've looked back in your life and said time went quickly. Think of how many times you in your life looked back and you said time was excruciatingly slow. By the laws of time in your world, time is exactly the same, no matter what. It does not speed up, it does not slow down. That is purely your perception. So if time is perceptual and you are able to remove yourself from the perception of time as being a limit rather than an experience of something fun, something that is unfolding and evolving all the time, you may find that your perception and experience of time shifts into everything being a spontaneous moment. Time aside, healing is also a process for many of you to release the information of the past that is bound by the gravity of your cells in your body, creating tension, creating mental loops, creating struggles and frustrations around things that really, in the big picture, you may look back on in the future and say it didn't matter. The perception you have, the meaning you give things, the struggles and strife you put yourself through is simply you, your higher self, and any other information you are drawing from the unseen world communicating with you. Stop for a moment and ask what it is saying. For those of you still doing the spiral breath, kudos to you. You are finding your way to changing your perception of time. For those of you who were distracted by our words for a moment and forgot about the breath, resume it now. Breathing in from 8 to 1, then 8 to 2, 8 to 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and repeating either from 1 to 8 or 8 to 1 is entirely up to you. This space that we create for you, that you create for yourself, is where you take the quantum leap because you are doing it as a collective. The energy is far more convincing to the dense matter of 3D when more participants join together for the same experience of releasing tension within the body and the mind. As you, an individual, releases the tension, it impacts the group, and you become what you might call more effective. We are ready for your first question.
David would like to ask, I have been having a great deal of trouble sleeping for many years. Any suggestions to improve that? I have already tried meditation, many supplements, and prayer. Thank you.
David, there is a communication line that is open between you and an extra dimensional species. This connection has been open for more than just this lifetime. However, in this lifetime, it is more of a poignant connection. You are a person who requires less sleep. That does not mean that your human body can do without it. It simply means that to acknowledge the connection, the gateway that is open for you, and say to it, at some times I am going to close this gateway. At that time, you can wait on the other side for me while I rest my 3D body in an experience of regeneration, renewal, refreshing, and bringing forth new information from the quantum field. By doing so, you may feel a sense of loss because this connection has been your constant companion for so many years. It feels very familiar. And so you may find that by closing that gateway, you feel a little off. It may interrupt your sleep even more at the beginning because your body has developed a sense of homeostasis in the way that it was. So allow yourself to experience in your meditation closing that gateway, allowing yourself to feel what it's like to run solo, to be by yourself, to release the cords between the worlds. And you may find that the communication can then be directed from being an open gateway or an open doorway to being a choice that you make, like a call on your phone. You say to it, you may enter in through the 8th and 7th energy centers to my pituitary and pineal glands and stop there. The information can then be cognitively processed by your brain, where you can make choices. Granted, these will be unconscious and conscious at the same time. Your body and mind, your frequency knows what it needs. You do not need to micromanage the process once you understand what it feels like. But you can be the gatekeeper, where you say, I will only accept these messages for the next 10 to 15 minutes, the next hour in my meditation. The moment you feel that you are overcome by the experience, close the gateway. Close it so that you can process more effectively. Currently, this open channel is a little like the river rushing over you, and at times you can maintain your comfort in the river, and at other times you feel as if you are drowning in lack of sleep because the energy and information is too much. When you are keeping track of by closing that gateway, you will find that the relief and release of it will allow you better sleep habits. We have more information for you from your channel after this session because it involves 3D experiences for which it would take much time for us to go over. Please come back to your channel at a later time. We will take your next question.
Rasheen would like to know, dear Violet people, as I understood it, you told us to focus on the point of consciousness that flows between the plane of unknown and unseen and the 3D world, so we can manifest what we want. Is the point of consciousness that you refer to as 4D or something else? Do we focus on it through our intention or in some other way? Thank you.
This is a wonderful question. We have groups here who are giving us information to share with you. Some of them are more interested in describing the fourth dimension. We are encouraging them to focus on your actual question. You would like to know about where to focus your energy, where the point of consciousness should be as you are attempting to release the 3D experience for drawing in the extra dimensional realities of possibility, meaning reaching into the quantum field for new information, which the Pleiadians would like to speak. We will translate for them. No new information exists anywhere in the universe. Everything is everywhere, and everything knows everything. And so imagine that you are in a library where the books are endless, the rooms of books are endless, the floors containing books are endless, and you live in this place. This 3D concept is where you are within the quantum field of nothing and everything. Everything is encoded in you. And even though you appear to be a vibrational frequency of uniqueness, you have access to all the information the universe has. All information came from one point where it all knew everything it was, and then it began to expand, expressing itself in repeated iterations of versions of itself. And so when you are looking to raise your consciousness, focus your awareness, or to change or manifest something in your life, pause for a moment right now and close your eyes. Breathe into your heart and allow the heart energy center to expand wide. As you do this, identify why it is you feel you are missing something. Continue to inhale and exhale to the heart. You wish to change what is. You wish to change what is before you. What you really wish is to reverse into the moment and stay there. meaning allowing time to do one of the things that we described earlier, to change your perception of time. So, where is your focal point when you wish to manifest something? It is in timelessness. It is focusing in on this one moment repeatedly until time ceases to exist. Your kind lives in an almost perpetual state of anxiety, in an almost perpetual state of depression. The mind is attempting to hijack the physical body in its experience of time. But if you breathe into your heart, remember one single moment of joy. Likely, that one single moment will lead to other single moments of joy, of love, of connection. If you can continue to remember this moment, this feeling of love, joy, and connection, you slip out of linear time just for that instant and continue to repeat the experience. Yogis on your planet say that you should focus on the inside of the third eye. What could they have been saying? What is your third eye? Are you looking in between your eyes, above the bridge of your nose, or is it something else? The focus inward then is just on the breath, just on creating space, just on expanding the heart. And so, if you are looking for specific directions, because the human mind likes directions, sit quietly, breathe into the tension in your body, releasing that as much as you possibly can, focusing on the backside of your third eye. Focusing on the space between the back of your tongue and the back of your throat. Focusing on the space between your beating heart and your spine. Focusing on the space between your belly button and your spine. Focusing on the palms of your hands. Face them up on your lap and feel them open, unfurling like flowers. Focus there. And focus on the soles of your feet, feeling them on the surface. Allow them to open and love the energy they pull from your earth. And so now you have your focal points for change in your life: the soles of your feet, the palms of your hand, between your belly button and your spine, between your beating heart and your spine, between the tongue and the back of the throat. And then on the back side of your third eye. And now, according to the Pleiadians, you will hear a sound. And this sound will inform your cells. And your cells will repair themselves. And your cells will replicate with this new vibrational frequency. And in every moment where tension arises in you, come to this place, this feeling, this sound. The Pleiadians thank you for your interest. We will take your next question when you are ready.
Natalie would like to ask, Dear Blue Healers, do our future selves send breadcrumbs, subtle signals, synchronicities, or nudges across time to guide us? And if so, how can we recognize the difference between a true breadcrumb from our future self versus a distraction from the outside world? Thank you.
This is an excellent question that the violet people would like to answer. All experiences that you have in your world, your personal world, and your collective world is your higher self, as you have described, giving you information about the experiences that you are having in the moment, the experiences that you have as individuals, the experiences you have as a collective. This information is just that. Understanding the difference between types of information is a fascinating concept for the violet people. Information is just information. You will not steer yourself in the wrong direction. If you increase suffering, it is simply an idea in your mind telling you that maybe there is another possibility. There is no such thing as needing to continually suffer. That line of thinking is so completely erroneous to the evolution of the human experience, to your evolution, as to be a hindrance for anyone who chooses to believe that suffering is supposed to be a continual process. Instead, look at what is before you, the choices that you can make. Find the one that gives your heart a little bit of expansion. And if you find yourself having to or unconsciously stepping into a state of contraction, pause and breathe. Give thanks for the moment and see if choices have come up that allow you to pivot into a position, a choice, an experience where the heart begins to expand wide. For some of you, you have simply an addiction to every experience being one of constriction. You are wired to believe that constriction is your way of life. You will tell yourself with your head, why do I continue to make these choices that create struggle and suffering in my life? When will I get a break? When is it my turn? When will I have? And so on and so forth. This question that you have in the human world, when, is something that you could examine for why it is so important for you to continually push off to the future experiences you wish to have in the present. For example, you may be in a situation where you are repeating an uncomfortable pattern. It may be a thought or an action. When you become aware of the thought or action that is uncomfortable, simply pause and say to yourself, where would I like to be in this moment? If you are incapable of hijacking your thoughts in the moment, for 90% of experiences or more that humans have are related to repetitive thought patterns, take a moment to breathe in and out just a few times and say, where would I like to be? If you cannot find something that directly relates to the experience you are having, simply say to yourself, where would I like to be in the feeling? And so you may need to bring up a memory of the feeling that you would like to have in the moment. Maybe you are in an ice cream store and there are more flavors than you can actually enjoy at one time. And so you are presented with a choice. Do I get 1, 2, 3, 5, 10 flavors? And already we can feel the tension within you at making the decision. These thoughts, as you can see, are already creating tension in you. And you are supposed to be having ice cream for an experience of joy. Instead, you are struggling with the choice of flavor, struggling with the vessel in which it will be served to you, struggling over the thoughts of being this, that, or the other thing in your body, too fat, too thin, too much sugar, too much this, too much that. You struggle so much in the span of a few seconds that the joy that was supposed to come to you in the experience of having what you describe as a treat has been completely lost in the struggle and tension of your own mind. Maybe step outside of the ice cream store and remind yourself of what you were there to do. Have a pleasurable and joyful experience, either alone, with friends, with family, or whatever. And so you walk in again, you look at the flavors and you select the one that gives you a sense of joy in your heart. And you do the same with the next choice. In which vessel will it be served? Perhaps if you are struggling then over cost and money and whether or not you need to finish everything in your bowl, stop, breathe again, and say, where is joy in my body? Breathe into joy, bring it forth. You may find that you need to do this 100 or 1,000 or more times in the span of 15 minutes. Eventually, you will find it to be quite humorous that you lose track of your own love and connection, your own joy over the most simple things in your life. And now here you are going through life with these moment by moment struggles. Why, of course, would it be a surprise that you are anxious, that you are depressed? You are so wrapped up in missing the point of the experience itself by allowing your thoughts to hijack the experience you want to have with the experience you are actually having, that you miss being in coherence in a state of love. Practice with this as often as possible. Recently, we had a session with an individual who was a little annoyed with the fact that we keep returning you to breath practices. It is the simplest and fastest way to get yourself into your heart, into love, into connection, into the state of coherence that you truly desire. This is where your focal point should be, is in the heart expanding in love. And so we ask you now, if you do not already have your eyes closed, close them now. Take 3 breaths at your own pace, finding joy and love in your heart. Maybe it is a memory of holding your newborn baby. Maybe it is a memory of flying through the air to a new place. Do you notice how when you breathe into and remember joy and love, everything in your body begins to expand and unfurl like a flower? This is the simplicity of the practices we offer to you. Expand, unfurl, sink into love. And resume your natural breathing. Open your eyes and check in with yourself. In this moment, are you full of joy? Are you full of love? Find it. Find what it feels like and linger there in love. And we will take your next question.
Anna would like to ask, Dear Blue Healers, I have been sending energy to my son's school with the intention of bringing coherence and raising the vibration of students, teachers, and anyone who walks through the school doors. I see love filling the hallways, classrooms, and the hearts expanding. Are my efforts having an impact, or is there something else I can do to bring more coherence, love, and joy to the school? Thank you.
Your efforts are working. As you bring yourself into love and coherence and ask that information to spread out to your child, to the school, and to all the individuals, you are essentially bathing the space and the people in love. What a beautiful expression of humanity. If there is more you wish to do, you could always volunteer your time to do 5 to 10 minutes of mindfulness with your child's classroom, with the staff or the faculty. You could just volunteer your time, offer, and if it is received, do it. If it is not received, do not worry. Allow it simply to be what it is and continue doing what you're doing. We will take the next question.
Goldie would like to ask, Dear Blue Healers, sometimes I feel that both professionally and personally I settle for less. I have gone through many challenges in life and I feel that I aim higher. But if I do, I might disrupt the balance I have now, in which I feel very good. How can I overcome this self-limitation? Thank you.
It sounds as if you have developed a space of comfort for yourself that is maybe not as comfortable as you might think. So, if your space that you have created of so called comfort means that you still have things that you reach toward in terms of expansion and love within you, perhaps that comfortable space is ready to expand yet another layer. Humans have an uncanny ability to attempt to control time, space, and experiences. It provides a false sense of security and safety because truly, all things are constantly changing. Think of your cells. They are constantly replicating, and they are constantly changing who you are within. That will change your outward expression. You simply need to look at photos of yourself from infancy until today to recognize how much the human changes externally. So you have desires for more in your life. That simply means you will need to dissolve the walls around which you are currently safe and staying in a state of familiarity. What if life became completely unfamiliar in its familiarity, where you allowed yourself to express yourself in every moment, a new being? Maybe it would look exactly the same. However, your perception would not be exactly the same. Allow yourself the freedom to try new things, to do new things, to allow things to change in ways that may feel a little uncomfortable and expand into the new way of being. Either way, it is fine. The choice is yours. However, because you asked the question, it is evident that you are seeking more expansion within you, more expansion in your world. And our first response is do it. Next question, please.
This next question comes from Rasheen, and she asks, Dear higher dimensional beings, I'm very curious about why all who need healing don't heal completely and entirely during the healing sessions when several higher frequencies are present at the same time. You come in with such high frequency as a group. Why does that frequency not win over the density in us? Thank you.
We explained much of this at the beginning of this session. There is a habit, a pattern, and a frequency of whatever it is you are experiencing in the moment. Extra dimensional information can come in to remind you and reinform you. However, spontaneous healing is still a series of steps in a world that is bound by time. If you were to release your bonds on time, you would cease to be visible to the 3D world. Your visibility as a 3D being means that you are subject to the current rules of time, the current belief about time. And so no higher vibrational frequency is going to come in and change the 3D perspective for more than a few moments because 3D has a set of rules and you have selected to be in a 3D experience. Your healing, all healing, is a series of steps. Breathe into the tension and the discomfort of the experience you are having with a lack of wellness. Breathe into love and connection. Breathe into your nervous system, allowing the messages to re-enter the system with clarity. And continually visualize and see the wellness in your hands, your arms, your legs, and your torso. Focusing on the wins, the places where you are expanding and growing, can be a point of reference for the next step, which is to imagine you are blowing air into a balloon. It is hard at first, and then it gets a little easier. The air begins to expand the fabric of the balloon itself. The same is true in the healing process. You feel the higher vibrational frequency. You breathe into that higher vibrational frequency. You allow it to expand throughout the cells and tissues in your body. And you continually do this in a space of intention so that little by little, everything begins to change. Notice that all at once, the balloon seems to be filled. The same is true of healing in the 3D world. Incremental steps that may be imperceptible change small things. Small things change the collection of larger things until eventually it appears as a spontaneous healing for the individual. The reason some of you are incapable of sensing into the vibrational frequency of health and wellness from the higher beings, the higher dimensional beings, is due to your commitment to your experience in the 3D world. For many humans, change is a challenge. For many humans, struggle is a point of familiarity. For many humans, fear is something that is far more compelling than love. And so, sit in your chair, be in your body, experience the moment, whether you like it, desire it, wish for it to be different, or not. Allow yourself to keep remembering the sensation of wellness from a higher vibrational frequency. What would it feel like if you were taken away into another dimension? What would it feel like if you were in a sphere of health and wellness, such as being inside the balloon, suspended in space, suspended in what may feel like air that has been made liquid? And what would it feel like if this vibrational frequency allowed your entire body to remember health, wellness, connection, and feeling? What would that feel like? Close your eyes and imagine yourself there now. Put your body inside the beautiful balloon of wellness, resting in the substance that is like air made into water. Rest inside this beautiful space where silence, softness, perfect temperature, and healing exists. Feel your body connecting into, from the nervous system out, the vibrational frequency of this dimension. And as you breathe your natural breath, feel yourself floating in this space. Focus on one part of your body for wellness. And now speak to the space around you. Ask it for what you want. I wish for my shoulder to start feeling a little bit freer. I wish to feel my hands and have control over them again. I wish for my mind to be gentle and loving with me. I wish for a sense of trust in my life and experiences. I wish to live in a constant state of renewal and abundance. I wish to call forth my purpose. And you continue to breathe, and allow your natural breath to fill all the spaces in your body with the substance in which you rest. And you continue to breathe gently at your own pace. And the sensation of wellness expands. And the sensation of outside of time expands. And we encourage you to continue in this energy, in this place, remembering that you have assistance from us at all times. And the extra dimensional beings begin to recede from this channeling space. You may continue to hold and communicate with extra dimensional beings in your space. The Pleiadians recede from the space. The 12th dimensional beings recede from the space. The violet people recede from the space. And the blue healers recede from the space. Our collective, as always, is grateful for your interaction. We are grateful for the time that you spend with us, for allowing yourself to remember your magnificence. And now the blue healers recede from the space. All right, beautiful ones, thank you for being here. Such a pleasure, as always. Sending you with lots of love. I understand that Jan Wakefield and Jan Wakefield Professional Healer, DBA, Jan Wakefield Awakened, will own the copyrights to the recordings and all materials created or distributed in connection with these channelings, sessions, and workshops, and that no personal recording devices or cameras are permitted inside the channelings, sessions, or workshops. Any reproduction or distribution of any such materials to third parties without the express written consent of Jan Wakefield is prohibited. I hereby grant Jan Wakefield and Jan Wakefield Professional Healer, DBA, Jan Wakefield Awaken, the right to reproduce in any manner whatsoever, without compensation, any recording of my presence during this channeling, session, or workshop. I assume full responsibility for my reception and use and results from the materials connected with this in any way. Channeling, sessions, and workshops. I assume full responsibility for my reception and use of and results from the materials connected in any way with this channeling, session, or workshop. And I understand that Jan Wakefield and Jan Wakefield Professional Healer, DBA Jan Wakefield Awaken, is responsible only for the orderly presentation of the channelings, sessions, and workshops, and that I am voluntarily responsible for my own participation in channeling, sessions, and workshops, and for my own well-being. I hereby acknowledge and I have read the channeling, sessions, and workshops guidelines fully. I understand them. And by attending a Jan Wakefield channeling session or workshop, I agree to be bound by their terms and conditions. I certify that I am 18 years of age or older, and I accept the channeling, sessions, and workshop guidelines at my own free will.